I'm here with James Russell, the lead designer of the Total War series at Creative Assembly, one of my favorite Sega studios, by the way. You guys have been very successful, even though you didn't launch a game last year, but now you're back with a blast. The sequel to Rome, Total War Rome 2. What can we expect this time around? Rome, it's coming back, bigger and badder than ever.
I mean, we've made just so many improvements. It's nearly a decade since the original Rome, so the series has just come on so far. I mean, just graphically, we're at a completely different level. And what's unique about the Total War series is you've got this combination of empire building, grand strategy, the campaign map, and then you've got these real-time mass battles with thousands and thousands of soldiers on screen at any one time. And we're massively improving both areas of the game for Rome 2. On the battlefield, we're really wanting to push that kind of unique feature of the game, which is just the scale of the battles, right? So right down when you zoom right down and you see these individual guys fighting their guts out, we've got an incredible level of detail, really visceral combat. And then you zoom out and you see just the thousands of troops on the battlefield. We've got bigger battlefields, we've got a much greater scope, huge cities, an incredible variety of different fighting styles that you've got with all of the different factions that you can play, and different barbarian factions, the Romans of course, and these exotic kind of eastern kingdoms in the desert. So there's a huge variety of tactical styles and obviously very different looks. It's just a huge epic game.
Shogun 2 was a fantastic game and very successful for you guys. I just want to ask you, what did you learn from the development that you applied to Rome 2? And also, since Rome 2 is a completely different game, given that Shogun was very regional, took place in feudal Japan, what challenges did it bring from coming from one type of game to come into another type of game?
Yeah, well, one of the big things that's different about Rome 2 is just the epic scope that it's got. I mean, obviously we've got a huge sweep of the ancient world, right from the whole of Europe, a lot of Asia. It's absolutely massive, and that means we have to take some of those lessons we learned to make the game more accessible with Shogun 2, and we really need to make that work in Rome 2. So what keeps the game, even though it's really hard to master it, what keeps it easy to play, what easy to learn and pick up, is the fact that we start the player small, right? So we have these huge epic battles, but when you start, you're only in control of a few units. You've got to build up that army yourself. You've got to write your own history, and that means that the game, like Shogun 2, is much easier to pick up and play than previous Total War games.
Okay, for someone new to the entire franchise, right? What can you tell them about this game if this is the first one in the Total War series that they're coming into? What can you tell them to hook them into this game and tell them this is the definitive Total War game that's coming out of Creative Assembly?
Well, again, I'd say two things that makes Total War special, right? There's no other game that does mass battles like this. Epic, huge scale historical battles with thousands and thousands of men. No other game does it in the way that Total War does it, and no other title in the Total War series does it like Rome 2.
So when can we see this game coming out?
Well, we're coming out later this year. Haven't set the exact date yet, but it will be with us soon.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. This is Bobby Venomous at GDC checking out Total War Rome 2. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to the game.
Cheers, thank you.